Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking an incredibly vibrant journey, starting right in the bustling streets of Paris's most densely populated neighborhood and ending up straight in the heart of its world-renowned kitchens. It's going to be a fantastic ride, so let's just jump right in. Here is a quick look at our agenda for today. First up, we'll cover the 15th arrondissement itself. Then, we'll be exploring its 4 distinct quarters, followed by a look at the area's legacy and education. After that, we'll pivot to traditional French foods, and finally, we'll round things out with essential cooking techniques. Okay, Section 1, the 15th Arrondissement, the scale and history of Paris's left bank giant. Get a load of this number, 229,713. That is the official resident count as of 2023, making the 15th the absolute most populous arrondissement in all of Paris. When you factor in a density of around 27,000 people per square kilometer, packed into just about 8.5 square kilometers, well, you realize the 15th operates almost like its own massive independent city right there in the southwestern corner of the capital. Sure, it shares the famous Montparnasse district with its neighbors, but it honestly holds an incredible gravity all its own. But, historically, this area wasn't even technically part of Paris. Before 1860, it was just a collection of quiet, independent, rural villages, places like Fojerard and Grenelle. It was basically a pleasant little suburb where Parisians would escape for country walks. Then, a decree in 1859 changed everything, and by 1860, it was formally swallowed up by the city limits. Fast forward to the 1970s, and we see this massive, sweeping transition. Heavy industrial spaces, we're talking chemical plants and car factories, were steadily transformed into the modern, rehabilitated residential and commercial hubs we see today. Moving right along to Section 2, exploring the 4 quarters, Saint-Lambert, Necker, Grenelle, and Javel. Breaking the district down into these 4 administrative quarters reveals a really fascinating evolution. Take Saint-Lambert, for instance. It grew from ancient Roman roads and literally a massive slaughterhouse into the beautiful Parc Georges Brassens. I mean, talk about a serious upgrade, right? Then you have Necker, which went from basically empty space to hosting the towering Tour Montparnasse and the world-renowned Pasteur Institute. Down in the north, Grenelle transformed from a really tough-to-farm plain into the Front de Seine, which is this totally modern skyline of riverside high-rises. And finally, Javel, out in the west. This was the true industrial engine of the district. It's actually where the famous Eau de Javel bleach was invented and where Citroën cranked out cars up until the early 70s. Today, those smoky factories are long gone, totally replaced by the lush Parc André Citroën and bustling television studios. So what you get is a district of just wild contrasts. On one side of the neighborhood, you're literally craning your neck staring up at 1970s skyscrapers in Grenelle. And then on the exact opposite side, you're walking the ancient, historically quaint Roman footprint of Vaugirard. It's a true architectural and cultural crossroads. This brings us to Section 3, Legacy and Education, Notable Minds and Institutions. It's not just about buildings, though. This area has housed an absolutely incredible diversity of cultural giants. We're talking absolute icons here. Actress Brigitte Bardot, literary genius Samuel Beckett, and the legendary artist Marc Chagall. And the scientific legacy? It's just as impressive. You've got Louis Pasteur, whose institute still operates right here, alongside Nobel-winning scientists who literally discovered the mechanisms of gene transcription regulation right in this very neighborhood. The sheer intellectual density here is staggering. And all of this intellectual density perfectly sets the stage for one of the neighborhood's most famous exports. Tucked away on Rue Léon Delhomme is a historic campus of Le Cordon Bleu. Established way back in 1895, this world-renowned international culinary school serves as our perfect narrative bridge, taking us out of the Parisian city streets and straight into the delicious, highly exacting world of French gastronomy. Let's dive right into Section 4, Traditional French Foods, Exploring the Culinary Exports. Now, looking at a culinary powerhouse like that prompts us to ask a very specific, almost philosophical question. What exactly defines traditional French flavor? What is the absolute bucket list of tastes you simply must experience to truly understand the French palate? While these bucket list items are the undisputed foundational tastes of France, you have the flaky, buttery perfection of a freshly baked croissant, moving on to the rich, earthy depth of a good camembert cheese. And yes, we have to mention the famously distinctive proteins like frog's legs and perfectly cooked garlic herb escargots. Seriously, do not knock them until you try them. These time-honored staples are what define the quintessential French dining experience around the globe. Which leads us to our final stop, Section 5, Essential Cooking Techniques, the secrets of the kitchen brigade. If you want to make those iconic dishes, understanding the 5 mother sauces is basically step 1. These are the fundamental sauces that form the absolute bedrock of French cooking. Whether you're just throwing together a nice family meal on a Tuesday or you're operating inside a high-pressure, traditional French kitchen brigade, these sauces are the technical starting point. It's exactly what those culinary degrees emphasize from day one. They are the building blocks of flavor. And I absolutely love this perspective from École du Casse. You don't have to live in the 15th arrondissement or wear a tall, white chef's hat to master this stuff. The art of French cooking techniques is highly accessible. It's meant to be brought right into your very own kitchen, regardless of your professional training. It's about passion and technique, not just fancy titles. So, I'm going to leave you with a bit of a provocative thought to wrap up our explainer today. We've traced the lines all the way from the bustling, historic streets of Paris's biggest district, right down to the foundational sauces bubbling away on a stove. So what's it going to be? Which will you do first? Master a mother sauce right there in your own kitchen, or book a ticket to go explore the rich, layered history of the 15th Arrondissement for yourself? Whatever you choose, I hope this explainer inspires both your future travels and your next incredible home-cooked meal. Thanks for exploring with us today.